All right, everybody, go ahead and get your Joe Budden lookalike jokes out of the way, because apparently I look like everyone who's light-skinned with a beard. What's up, everybody? It's Luke James, not the singer. If you're looking to get your music reviewed, you can hit up this email right down here. But right now, we are going to talk about this new Joe Budden album called Rage and the Machine. And I know I'm kind of late with this one. It came out like last month, but I've just been so busy with all these other releases coming out, and I didn't have a whole lot to say about this one. Not that I think it's a bad album, but I've seen a lot of people praising this and saying it's one of the best of the year. It's going to be in their top 10, which is cool, but I just really didn't feel that way. I didn't have a whole lot to say about this one, so I'm actually going to keep it pretty brief. Now, first of all, I gotta say that Idols is by far the best track on here, in my opinion. I love that soulful production and how it switches up on that last verse to this kind of heavenly and triumphant feel. And I like the content on here as well, because Joe starts off just showing love to his idols who inspired him and kind of paved the way for newer hip-hop artists. And then he goes into detail about his own experiences as a rapper and just his thoughts on the game, like how streaming services are taking a lot of the money that artists are not getting. And he also brings up how people call everything classic as soon as it drops. And I gotta be with him on that, man, because I hate when people are doing that on Twitter. An album will drop, you know, those times we're up until midnight waiting for something to come out, then it does come out, and within 5 minutes, maybe enough time to hear one song, you got all these people saying, oh shit, man, this is album of the year, nothing's gonna top this, oh man, this is fire. Like they haven't even heard the whole album yet, let alone the first song. They might have just finished it, but you know what, I'm with them on that. I hate that shit, and I think that's when Joe is at his best on here, is when he's just being honest about his thoughts and his experiences, which he always is on pretty much every album, and that's what Joey is known for, man. That's why people do like his music, and that's one of the best traits about him, in my opinion. Including on the song Forget, where we get this really dope sample flip. I actually wish this one was longer because it's only about 1.5 minutes in length. But Joe comes in on this one and he just raps about how he's been around the world, he's seen it all, he's met so many people that he can't even remember faces, and he's had his ups and downs as well, including having girls do drugs off of his dick. Which is definitely some pretty classy shit. So shout out to Joe Budden for getting girls to do drugs off his dick, man. I ain't gonna hate on you for doing that. That's like some bucket list shit. Well, not really for me. I mean, I'm kind of washed up now, but I don't know, man. I'm just getting off track with this one. I'm just saying it's crazy to have girls do drugs off your damn dick. Now on the song Uncle Joe, he's coming through with some more realness, although this one had some pretty standard and kind of boring piano production. But I like on this one when he says that line about how most people think of White Iverson when they hear Post Malone, but he actually thinks of Karl Malone and how he never won a championship. And that was just funny to me because it's the same thing for me, man. Whenever I hear Post Malone, I think of Karl Malone and how the Jazz always used to beat my Sonics back in the day when I was a Peyton and Kemp fan. So I am with him on that as well. There's just a lot of things on here that he's saying that I really related to. But other than that, I did find a lot of these songs just to be very generic. Not to say they were trash, but they weren't songs that I would come back to. For example, Wrong One is just a pretty standard and basic synth banger with bars about guns and drugs. And I did think Flex was cool as a late night wavy type of track. Very smooth beat. You could definitely drive around under some city lights of that shit. Got some Tory Lanez vocals on there as well that fit in with the theme and sound of the track. But Fabulous continues his streak of just singing and auto-tuning, man. I used to be quite a big fan of Fabulous, man, but over the past year or so, I just find he's had some terrible verses and appearances, including on that Dave East album. And then on his last mixtape, he was doing the same thing with this auto-tuning, this crooning and singing. He actually flips a couple lines from Bobby Brown's track Roni on the end of his verse. I would have liked that song, but Fabulous on here was just really bad. And aside from that Roni thing, there were some other moments on here that were borrowed and kind of familiar. Like on the song Time for Work, where Imani is actually flipping the hook from Rod Stewart's old track, If You Think I'm Sexy. I thought this was probably the worst song on here with that little dance beat breakdown on the hook. It's just a song about girls. There was really nothing about it that was too memorable. Then you have Joe Budden borrowing some flows and bars from Jay-Z on I Gotta Ask, which obviously he's doing on purpose. He's kind of showing love to Jay on this track, but even still, it was just very familiar to have that on there, that Roni part, that Rod Stewart part, and then on the song I Wanna Know, we get the exact same sample flip from Freddie Gibbs's classic track, Shame. So that kind of killed that track for me a little bit, although it does still sound good, and I like the content because Joey is once again digging deep and spitting about how he wants to be a better father to his son. And he also addresses how he's lost some good girls to just fucking around with hoes and strippers. So once again, Joey is coming with that honesty. He's not afraid to say what's on his mind. But in the end, this is just a 3 out of 5 for me. There wasn't a whole lot here that was great. I'm not going to come back to any of these tracks. This whole album was just kind of boring, a little bit generic to me, not too much in the way of innovation and creativity. And the production from A-Rap Music is good, but again, there wasn't much here that really stuck out to me and had me thinking it was some next level shit or one of the best albums of the year. But that's just what I thought about it. You guys can hit me up in the comment section with your thoughts, and make sure you do all that good YouTube and social media stuff, man, where you like my videos, you share them, you follow me on Twitter, you retweet the videos, and you especially gotta like the Facebook page, man. Hit it up. Thank you for watching, everybody. I will see you next time.